Hello, everybody. Welcome to another little dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support and any kind of updates and such. Usually go out on Twitter X. It seems I'm a little bit under the weather. I don't know, some sinusitis kind of a thing here affecting my voice and my breathing. So excuse me, any kind of uh, might sound different from the usual programming. Just a quick reminder that I will try to upload another Midnight Suns episode. And again, I already published all the five episodes that I managed to record for Monster Hunter Wilds, the beta version. And again, I would like to see if they can manage to launch a demo for the game, like 1 month before launch, something like that. Would be great for people to check the if they manage to go about and do the changes that uh, some people are complaining. Some just wanted to see more of the game itself there. Other than that, yeah, it's been a while since I published. I wanted to make like a mini break for these 2 3 days, but I'm getting a little bit under the weather. Like 2 days from now, 2 days ago, and yeah, but I wanted to do something for today, Monday. But yeah, let's go to the news. We got the Ryzen, so the Zen 5 CPUs, the non-X 3D versions, because we got the recent launch of the 9800X 3D, which is basically the new king of the hill in terms of CPU performance, especially on gaming. It behaves okay regarding like productivity workloads. But yeah, it's the new king of the hill in terms of gaming CPUs, and I think AMD is trying to um, stop manufacturing the Zen 4 CPUs to a certain degree, or trickle or reduce the production of the CPUs and focus more on the 9000 series. Which is the Zen 5 CPUs, because they are doing a lot of discounts since the launch of these CPUs. Again, when they were launched, we didn't see huge uplifts in terms of performance. The prices were not good comparatively with the current market at the time of the Zen 4 CPUs. I think they are trying to make it little by little more competitive and trying to squeeze out Intel out of the market share to a certain point. But yeah, these new deals that we have here for the all the lineup of Zen 5, basically, if I think except the 9600X, but still it's very comparatively pretty good price compared to the 7600X. But yeah, you can only get these promotions at MicroCenter, so you have to be near one to get this kind of deals, because as far as I know, MicroCenter doesn't ship stuff like Amazon or something like that. You have to go there physically, which is interesting business model. Again, I think you cut a lot of fat on the shipping costs of the business by just putting brick and mortar store. I think I think it works better, but that's another conversation. But yeah, the Zen 5 CPUs are on sale at this moment, ranging from 12 to 28% in discounts. The 9900X is the at a huge drop there, around $140 from what I understand. And again, the 9700X is not a bad price if it is around about the same price of the 7700X. Again, I'm using the 7700X. It's a very good CPU. I bought it in a very good, decent price, and again, performs well gaming. Even in on the charts, it performs decently well, even comparatively in terms of price to performance with with the Zen 5, and even with in certain cases with the Intel counterparts there. Again, because it saves on power draw and basically performs in many instances at the same level that the other old CPUs to a certain degree. Again, if you're not looking, if you have unlimited budget, you could just buy the most expensive and best stuff out there. But I think around about the performance of a 7700X, I think you can justify manage a budget around a system around that CPU. But yeah, and again, if you pair it with the I think you can pair it with any kind of GPU, and I think will perform very well because the price and performance of that CPU. But yeah, other than that, we got continuing with the TSMC stuff there. Basically, uh, they are now basically forbidden, let's say, to manufacture 2 nanometer chips outside Taiwan. Again, this was kind of predictable. I don't think they might had plans to try to outsource the bleeding edge manufacture of this lower size, like the 2 nanometers and the 3 nanometers, outside of Taiwan. But it was always going to be a huge work to do so, because they have to basically build plants to adopt that technology manufacturing. And again, I will assume engineering, like human resources, to being with engineers and all that jazz to support the manufacturing process. I think there is a lot of it behind it. That's why it's kind of difficult to implement. It takes time. It's not something that you can do over a year time period. And we got the thing with Arizona power plant, the Arizona fab on the US there. That yeah, I think they were trying to get around and manufacturing, or trying to make it work there. But again, they will start with, at least for now, the 4 and 5 nanometer processes, which is current gen or things that already been launched, even though it can be used to leverage like other components from other industries, not specifically PC or AI accelerators. It's used on auto manufacturing, like I don't know, appliances and all that jazz can be used this in even cell phones to a certain degree, or tablets, kind of those different things that we are used to cover on everybody's channel regarding like the AI accelerators and the PCI and the new upcoming GPUs and CPUs and all that jazz. I think again they can leverage this kind of manufacturing process outside of Taiwan, but then again, they claim that they are basically forbidden. It comes from the decision from where is it, the thing here, yeah, the Taiwan's Minister of Economic Affairs, he claims that this 2 nanometer core technology, which is the bleeding edge, will remain in Taiwan despite the ambitions of the foundry to take it abroad. And again, they are believe the benefit tremendously, again, under the Biden administration, mainly because of the Chip Acts, which by itself, this is kind of another discussion. I understand some kind of administrations from countries to try to incentivize investment per se. But the fact that for you to adopt a posture of trying to foreign countries to invest in your own country, you're giving subsidies for that. Usually, that doesn't work that well in the overall scheme of things. Usually, I think because then when you accept subsidies to certain things, in this case, like the foundry business, I think you will have some kind of mandatory stuff that you need to do regarding that business because you're being subsidized to work there. While I think an approach of, okay, if you put your business here, again, this is regardless of the business type that it is. In this case, it's like manufacturing business to a certain degree. I think you can consider that. If you put not giving subsidies but giving I don't know, tax breaks or something like that, I think it works best for both parties than trying to buy them out of putting business in your country. Um, but yeah, I think to a certain degree, this new administration, again, we know that Trump was is going to be the new president, and its administration. I'm not sure how they're going to act regarding this CHIPS Act because to a certain degree, it tends to work usually as a bailout to companies that are not doing that good. For example, Intel. Um, but yeah, because also I understand the fears of the Taiwan's Ministry of Economic Affairs. That the fact if you are uh, exporting this technology again. um, there can be some security risks, let's say, of some technology being stolen and then appropriated by other companies in the same field. Again, it's a lot of things coming together and a lot of considerations. And given that this is in most countries consider this kind of bleeding edge technology on microchips and semiconductors is usually considered national security because the more bleeding edge technology that you have, you're up, you're in the front of the race per se. But then again, we need to see how this is going to work out. Again, I think they're going to cool off a little bit the ambitions of putting everything that it's bleeding edge. I understand the business side of TSMC because again, their fabs are completely full on full production there for everything from the DIY market, for the AI accelerator stuff there, from laptops, iPhones, and all that jazz. Everything is on full throttle there. And if they could manage to open more fabs doing this 2 nanometer scaling, entering this 2 nanometer manufacturing process as soon as they can, it means that they can do more business on the bleeding edge side of things there. But yeah, then we have this again. Usually, companies don't worry too much of interests of national security stuff there with this kind of these technologies, even though they have their own interests to take in account. But yeah, hopefully. This guy Donald Trump can surround himself with a good administration and try to quell these worries and let's say negotiate some stuff that can be beneficial for both United States, Taiwan, and hopefully for the rest of the world to enjoy this kind of technologies. Hopefully, but yeah, let's see how that goes. But at this moment, again, they are not allowed to manufacture 2 nanometer chips outside Taiwan. Again, I think it's a lot of bit of national security and the fact that this kind of this secret trade secrets, let's say, if they come out or get appropriated by a third party, it can spell doom to a certain degree to the industry itself because then everybody's going to start stealing to each other. Usually, that's not good practices in the overall scheme of things. And lastly, regarding some stuff here from a PlayStation, I usually don't cover this much, but this is affecting the PC stuff, which is they got quarter 2 2024 financial report. Again, they sold supposedly 65 million units of PS5s. And the co-CEO Hiroki Totoki talked about a couple of our topics. Basically, the failure of Concord, which I think the other guy, the other co-CEO, the Helmut guy, should take the blame for this because it was supposedly his pet project there, the multimedia project that was Concord. Again, which led to wasting over $200 million. Again, the projections are around half a billion, taking into account the fact that they had to acquire the studio by itself, plus the fact that a decade of production cycle on that game was the investment of around $200 million, plus all the fanfare in terms of marketing, give her about around another $100 million. Again, it's around half a billion. This sinkhole of a project here, and basically went to finish up by basically closing down Firewalk Studios and shutting down everything, put it in a sinkhole, never to be seen again, hopefully. And one of the statements here, they're interestingly enough, they are still in the process of learning, him personally or the company itself. And basically, he says they are still on the process of learning regarding to new IPs. Um, I don't understand this gaslighting to to investors. Again, it seems that PlayStation never created new IPs, or Sony never created new IPs since its founding, which is very interesting. And then he excuses himself. Of course, you don't know the result until you actually try it. So for us, our reflection, we probably need to have a lot of gates. Well, I don't know what he means by that, including user testing or internal evaluation and the timing of such gates. Again, you when you announced Concord, the majority of the prospect clients didn't like what they saw. But again, you were in the an environment of toxic positivity, so that went well. But Sony and PlayStation, they already launched new IPs throughout their since their founding. I don't understand the difficulty now of going back to the basics of trying to learn how to launch a new IP. The processes were already there. You got, for example, God of War IP. It was a new IP a long time ago. They got the soft reboot of the IP to a certain degree, which went very well in terms of sales. You got Horizon Zero Dawn franchise, which was very good on sales when it came out. It was a new IP at the time. It's a very recent one. Again, got a lot of examples of new IPs that would launch. It were successful. I don't understand why the difficulty of them. I don't know the. I don't know if they took a pill and forgot what they learned. But yeah, and he continued that regarding the pushback, this is the part that I'm most interested in here. Regarding the pushback of PC players on Sony are the requirement to create a PSN account in the likes of again God of Ragnarok, Horizon Zero Dawn, and all the other single player games that have been ported to PC. Again, they recognize that users haven't liked the policy, but it stressed the need to ensure safety in live service games through PSN account requirement. Again, there is no worry about the safety of live service games that are single player games. I can understand if you're trying to cater, for example, the debacle that was Helldivers 2. Again, it was launched in a very peculiar situation regarding the PSN requirements. That was a debacle for them. I understand multiplayer games that you want them to be tied up to PSN for security reasons or whatever you want to call it, and have a PSN requirement there to play those games. But single player games doesn't make any sense, especially if you try to justify any kind of safety. I don't know what kind of safety that you want to make. Again, when you port a PC game, uh, you can say that safety goes out the water, because if you really want, you can pirate the game. So that's that. But yeah, I don't understand this safety excuse for PSN account requirements. Again, this is just a way for them to, in the end of the day, to um, blow up their PSN account stuff there, so they can justify something in terms of earnings goals. It's the only way to get around that, and trying to sell you a PSN Plus account for you to buy, because as far as I understand, for you to play online on PSN ecosystem, at least on PlayStation, you need to buy a subscription to play online, which is completely insane for me to have a hardware that for you to play the games that you want. You have to buy the game, then for you to play online for the game that you already bought, you have to buy a subscription to play online for an online game. Again, that doesn't make any kind of sense to me, but whatever. And again, it continues, says the way to face the issues for regarding PC, for instance, for the again, they hammer this for the live service game. We are not Nobody is complaining about live service games or exclusive multiplayer games. Again, everybody can understand that they want to keep it their ecosystem stuff of live service games on their own platform, or trying to control the best they can. Everybody is complaining is the single player stuff there. In order to maintain or gaming that so that anybody can enjoy the game safely. Nobody's complaining about safety on the game stack. I really don't understand what they're trying to gaslight the customer base. But and it says we need to create an environment conducive that, of course, enjoying the game freely. You're not enjoying the game freely because you have to buy the game, and then again, as I said, you have to buy the subscription to play the game online. I don't understand to enjoy the game freely. You're not giving anything for free. I really don't understand what they're trying to do here. And then having some restrictions may not call it rule, but to ask the users and gamers to follow the manner. Those manners are very important, and we have to continue to seek the best way to achieve this. Again, basically, it's controlling how people play your own game. It has to do, I think, with the moderation stuff there on the on live chat there on multiplayer games, so everybody can play safely, not be offended while you play a game. Again, I think this comes a little bit around in that issue, but again, nobody's complaining about that. People that are on PC platforms, if you bring a game to the PC, just if it is a single player game, just cut the bull crap and just remove the PSN requirements, because you're not doing any kind of favors, because you're not going to make huge sales as you think that you are doing. You can improve, like I don't know, at least double the sales if you remove completely the PSN requirement to play single player games, because it is already people, especially PC players, they don't like that. They to a certain degree are already reticent of, like myself, to a certain degree, to buy EA games or Ubisoft games. Again, different reasons, but the fact that you and even 2K games, because of their own apps, it's already an hassle to go about that most of the times. And as much as we can get rid of that, the better we are for. But yeah, something like this, I really don't understand what they're trying to. Again, I think they're trying to gaslight for normal people, the customer base that is prospectively buying these games, but it's more about trying to passage of message of safety and all that jazz to the investors. But again, they live in their own bubbles, so we never know what they are really thinking to themselves. But yeah. And the thing is, neither of those two games, yeah, as I mentioned, especially God of Ragnarok and Horizon Zero Dawn, whatever, if remastered or not, again, they are not live services, so they're, I don't understand this. I continue not to understand. I understand from a business perspective, but as a consumer, I cannot. I don't understand. I cannot compute this, to lack of a better term there. Then we got also good news. Death Stranding Director's Cut is now available on Xbox Series S and X. Again, it's been a few years now, 2 or 3 years, or no, 5 years. Sorry, I saw the Twitter from Hideo Kojima. Yeah, to mark the 50th anniversary, accompanied by a 50% discount, which is always good. I really do recommend the game. I didn't play the full game. I'm trying to arrange a way of getting around and live stream the game to continue it. I don't know, first third of the game. I think I'm going to pass the mark of that. Yeah, 50% off, 90 million players since the launch of the game, which is very good. I think it helped out a little bit the fact that the game was for free for a limited time on Epic Game Store, which is the way I went about it and got the game. But I will probably, I don't know, eventually go about and buy it on Steam, just to, again, even when I claim games for free, if I really enjoy them, usually, even if I wait for a deal, I will eventually buy the game. But yeah, it's always good to see that you have another platform where you can enjoy this game, and I think it will maintain the cross-saving stuff there, and I think we have cross-play also. But yeah, it's pretty good to see. Hopefully, Death Stranding 2 will come next year. I think around summertime, I suppose. But yeah. And then we got also No Man's Sky, another update, which is it was announced cross save, PS5 Pro support, and Mass Effect collaboration. They are now available. I watched the trailers. Basically, they are trailers announcing basically PS5 Pro support. Got a 4K gameplay there, or 8K. Then you've got the Mass Effect Normandy ship there. It's also available, and the crossplay stuff there, or the cross save stuff for all platforms available for this game, which is good to see. Again, these guys have been hitting the nail here since the launch. It was pretty not good launch. Um, but yeah, they managed to improve it and maintain, not make any kind of not playable DLC. The DLC they've been launching is always for free, so it's all you just need to buy the base game, and all the updates and DLC per se are already on the base game there, which is a good way of doing business. And the game, it's been selling well throughout its entirety of the launch date. But yeah, it's good to see this. And then lastly, we got again this Dragon Age Veilguard. It seems like a fucking soap opera. But yeah, um, again, the sales have been reportedly below projections. It seems to be averaging around 500,000 sales. Again, it's a flop. Everybody knew this before it went live. And still, they think that they need to sell around 4 to 5 million copies to make a profit at least. I'm not sure about that. Again, doing the math and taking all the cuts from the intermediaries and count as a profit on the EA side, I will assume at least 10 to 15 millions. I think it's a more realistic number for them to make a profit, given that it was basically a decade in the making this game. So around $200 million in development at least, plus around another almost if not mistaken, another $200 million in marketing stuff, because you got all the creator stuff there that they paid off also. Again, this game was a shit show, and it is a shit show still. But yeah, I think 10 to 15 millions copies, it's a more realistic number for them to try to make some profit out of this, or at least break even. And again, this Endymion guy is been having a lot of coverage regarding this with a lot of inside sources. And yes, yeah, around $500,000 confirmed by Smash It. Also, he had his own source at BioWare, and it seems to confirm that, yeah, so far around 500,000 units were sold. And there has been also a lot of people returning the game. This is possible, the refunds mainly with physical copies, but I think that there's been a lot of refunds from Steam also. Again, usually there is a policy on Steam: if you play maximum 2 hours and you refund it, nobody is going to complain there. It's an automatic process as far as I know. I never refunded the game, so I'm not sure how accurate that is, but I think that's the gist of it. And around 30, again, if you take into account 500,000 copies were sold and 30,000 units were returned, that's a huge percentage in terms of the units sold and the refunds have to be issued. But yeah, even the pre-orders, they thought were about 150,000 pre-orders, both digital and physical, and actually the number seems to be indicating around 70K pre-orders. Again, digital and physical, which is not good. It's a discrepancy of a lot of copies, taking the overall pre-order numbers that we've been seeing here. But yeah, this has been a shit show. We got this guy, not Paul Tassi. The Paul Tassi is another one. The guy from the Hollywood stuff there. Jesus. All right. Oh, Jason Schreier. Jesus, got the name here. This guy, even though he doesn't like the game, he doesn't care because supposedly Dragon Age is owning the chuds by being on the top charts. But then again, when you have a game with this kind of I don't know, this IP recognition and the expectations, when you're just having a top player all-time peak of not even 90,000 players online, that also doesn't bode well. In case you didn't know, again, by itself, 90,000 concurrent players as a number, it's a pretty good one. But for an IP and the development costs and this kind of numbers are way, 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 way below. We got, for example, we can give it Black Myth Wukong 2.5 million players almost there. Even Helldivers 2 had more peak concurrent players, and it stopped around almost 250K, I think. Again, by itself, this number seems good, but taking in account the numbers they needed to have to reach kind of a good number for them, I think almost 500,000 as a peak on the opening weekend, I think could be considered a good number, given that you can kind of extrapolate to a certain sense the peak players on the opening weekend to number of sales and kind of the revenue from there. Have at least an idea of what numbers can be reached there. But yeah, this Dragon Age Veilguard is a disaster as a game. I think the only thing that it goes for it in a positive way is the fact that it runs well on the machines, even on PC in various systems specifications. It runs pretty well, from what I understand. I think that's basically the only thing that it. And I think the world itself, the scenario looks good, but again, taking into account the art direction that they went for, which is kind of Overwatch, the rest is a complete shit show of a game. Again, what can I say? It's not a game for me for sure. I like RPGs, but again, the way they went about it, for sure, is not for me. So in this case, I can identify as a non-binary client here. But yeah, what can I say here? Let's wrap up with the good stuff here, which is gaming deals. We got Dredge. It's 40% off. And this is the digital deluxe edition, so it's a good deal here. And got also jusant, 40% off. We got also Midnight Suns, the game that I'm playing. It's pretty good. Really do recommend here, 85% off. Again, very cheap. You can take a lot of it out of this game. Again, my only complaint is the exploration mechanic that you have on the oh my god, on not the chapel, Jesus, on the main base camp there. I completely forgot the name. It's serviceable, but I think that the navigation system there and the exploration could be a little bit better. But other than that, I think the game is pretty good. Again, from the same guys that did XCOM 2, which is an excellent game by itself. Then you got also Bioshock the Collection. Again, 80% off on the trilogy, which is the first two games remastered, plus Bioshock Infinite and all the DLC associated with the free games. And then you got also Resident Evil franchise is still on sale, again, around a day or so when this video is published. Again, 50% on Resident Evil 4, but I will leave all the Resident Evil games there on the description so you can pick and choose and complete your collection. And then on GOG, we got Darkest Dungeon. Again, this is a pretty good game. It's one of those cases that was a success regarding early access stuff. Again, it's an older game. It was launched, 2016. I really remember this game being in early access and being curious about this. Again, this is a pretty good game still, even after all these years. There is Darkest Dungeon 2, which I think didn't have like the same kind of reception, a little bit poor reception, but still seems a pretty good game. Then you got also No Man's Sky, again, 60% off on GOG. Again, no worries. You will have all the access of all the content they've been launching since the game launch for this price, which I think is a good deal here. Then we got also Spiritfarer Farewell Edition, 75% off. And finally, we got the Invincible narrative-driven game here, similar to Firewatch, I think. Very similar in that sense of how you play it. But yeah, seems pretty interesting based on a book from Stanislaw Lu, I think, or Lance. I'm not sure. I'm so sorry. I'm butchering the name of the author. But yeah, very interesting, and it had a very good reception, this game. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up here for today. I'm sorry, a bit under the weather if my voice seems a little bit off. Again, I think it's kind of the sinus issue here. But yeah, I'll wrap up with a plug on my Patreon for extra support. It is at this moment to be focused more on getting around and getting a better storage solution so I can have backups of the stuff that I do for my clients, and of course some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.